Hi, Cody here, Content Director, Elevate My Brand, and I want to bring you a couple of the current trends in food and beverage industry right now. So this is changing constantly. As the times change, socio-political things change, as people's tastes change, as age demographics change, the food and beverage industry has always changed with it. So this is just what we see right now with our clients and with our prospects and the people who are in the industry. We see 6 things that are very current. The first is sustainability. It is a very common tactic right now to leverage all of the sort of like green elements of the food and beverage. If you're a restaurant, about your sustainable packaging options, or if you are a like food and beverage CPG brand, messaging about how you're sourcing your ingredients or your even like your packaging in that regard as well. So we're seeing sustainability be a huge thing, and that is largely because of especially as Gen Z, who really holds climate change in high regard in terms of their like value sets and what they look for in brands. That's huge for the brands who are really leveraging that messaging to reach that audience. And also because a lot of times, unfortunately, those more green options in terms of packaging or ingredients do tend to be more expensive. So brands want to make sure they're leveraging that and the value that they're providing for their audience as well. So sustainability is a huge one, and that's why it's our number one. Number two is local and ethical sourcing. So very similar to that, specifically on the like local and ethical side of brands are being more straightforward and upfront about the local partners that you're using. If you are sourcing from a local farm or you are using a local artist in order to be able to create your packaging or your designs or social tiles or what have you, that's being a lot more transparent in the industry right now. And then the flip side of that is the ethical side of things. So even if you are using a big farm, right, to source your products or ingredients or what have you, making sure that you're being clear about like what ethical decisions you're making and including that in your messaging to your customers. Because if people are between two different brands who are essentially the same, but one brand says that they are sourcing from a farm that is local to you, you're going to be more likely to choose that brand. So just making that connection between local and ethical farming. And again, the first 2 points here are really all about a values conversation. Number 3 is alcohol-free options. We've seen a lot lately where brands are making more alcohol-free, like mocktail kind of options, especially as more and more people are participating in Dry January or making healthier choices in their like lifestyle and habits. It's becoming increasingly more important for people to note that they have an alcohol-free version of what they're providing. I personally have even seen things say alcohol-free where I'm like, I didn't even expect there to be alcohol in this, but it's an important messaging point to be able to call out to people who are alcohol-free, who are being sober or dry, to say, hey, this product is for you, and to speak to them directly and make it more of a personal touch. The fourth trend that we're seeing is more innovative packaging designs. So gone are the days of just let me put this in a rectangular box or let me just put this in a can. Brands are becoming more and more cognizant of the fact that people do choose with their eyes with food, right? So you may have the most delicious product in the world, but if you just have plain, basic, boring, avoidable packaging, people are probably never going to be introduced to it, especially if you have competitors who are really leaning into this innovative and cool design aspect. One example we've seen recently is Graza olive oil made a little bit of a splash by adding a squirt top to the top of their olive oil. A very minor like change really, but it became really recognizable and an innovative and different choice. So even though it's a slightly different choice in terms of packaging, it had a big impact and really shook up the way that people see packaging for things like olive oil, which honestly have not changed in their packaging in a very long time. The fifth one we see are single serve options. So gone are the days of everything being huge, made for a family of 4. A lot of companies are now moving to making more products single serve, whereas that's either changing their product entirely to be single serve or providing a new single serve option. That can also be seen as a values conversation in terms of, your sourcing. And so people are like, I'm not going to waste anything because rather than buying for two, I'm just buying for one. So a lot of brands are moving in that single use or single serve direction. And then the sixth and final one is really relying more on those e-commerce options. So for example, we see like with restaurants using more and more of like DoorDash, Uber Eats, like all of those in order to provide more accessible deliverable options. Because, some people are not going into physical locations, especially in recent years with all these like scares around COVID and different health issues. And also as sometimes transportation issues, there's a lot of things that have made it less accessible to go out to these restaurants in order to survive and thrive. They're relying on these e-commerce options. We also see this with Instacart actually delivering people's groceries. So people are able to get their groceries, maybe not a pre-made meal, but they're getting their ingredients relying on things like Instacart. And that's supporting the food and beverage industry. It's added sort of a middle person in the delivery range, but it is allowing more food and beverage brands to reach more people. And then the third example there is with GoPuff, providing like deliverable beverages, which personally I love. So those are the 6 trends that we're seeing right now in the food and beverage industry. Of course, tomorrow, a week from now, a year from now, those may be completely different. But right now, as a marketing agency that works a lot in the F&B industry, those are 6 common trends that we see in food and beverage.